So again, thank you and welcome. For those of you who joined me last week or the week prior, welcome back. For those of you who are just joining me today, welcome. Again, my name is Lindsay Ventura. I'm an Outreach and Education Manager for the American Liver Foundation. Just as a quick reminder, this webinar is the final installment in a three-part series. We first examined the interplay between our emotions, our physical self, and our health, and how to incorporate some mind-body work into healthcare and how to be a member of your healthcare team in that way. We then last week discussed how to manage the physical, our physical and mental selves to better cope with liver disease. And today I want to discuss some real tools that you could incorporate into your everyday life. I'm going to present a number of techniques. Some may work for you while others may not. I ask you to take the ones that work and discard the rest. Before we begin, I'd ask that you try to find a piece of paper and pencil near you. If that's too obsolete for you, even pull up a Word document to have alongside this webinar. There are going to be a few points where it may be helpful for you to just jot down some thoughts. I also, again, just wanted to point out that there are handouts accompanying today's program. If you can download those now from that webinar dashboard, or if you're watching this as a recording, you can find links to the PDFs for the handouts in the description of this video. I would ask that everyone approach our session today with an open mind. Please note that throughout today you will see my slides and hear my voice, but my webcam will not be on. This is intentional. I want you to be present with me, but more so, I want you to be present with yourselves. I worry that having my webcam on may pull your focus away from your internal self, as you might get distracted by the facial expressions I'm making or things that I'm doing. So last we reviewed different types of self-management techniques, different facets of where we can expend change. We discussed for physical self-management, sleep and exercise and nutrition as being areas in which you can exert that change to impact your overall health and well-being. We also reviewed our mental selves and how that impacts our physical self, really that true mind-body connection. So just as a reminder, self-management are the methods, skills, and strategies that we can use to improve our self-care by better managing our bodies, our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors to better achieve our overall goals. So through identifying and understanding the dimensions of self-management, we can determine where we have control and what we can change and improve. As I mentioned last week, all too often we can make these big sweeping resolutions and not follow through. And then sometimes that can make us feel worse than we did to begin with. We can then have this self-imposed guilt and shame and have new stressors as a result. I wanted to share with you two really neat practical tools that can help you identify different areas where you can impact change, where to start, and how to make progress. And then I want to discuss some very, different varied approaches to relaxation and relaxation techniques. So again, I really hope that these practical tools might prove helpful to you in this journey as you work towards improving your self-care and your self-management. But just remember that it is totally impossible to tackle everything all at once. Truly, this is about progress and not perfection. But knowing where to even begin our journey can be daunting. Here are some tools to help us kickstart and track our progress. But to begin, I want to do a little brainstorming session. So please pull out that piece of paper and pencil and just take a few moments to write down what is occupying space in your mind right now. Anything that's causing you stress, anything that's taking up space. Write down whatever has really been taking up your time or your energy or your thoughts, particularly in a negative way. Try not to judge the things that you're thinking of or that you're writing down. Just write them. Just remember that this list is for you and no one else. So again, I just want you to take a few moments to jot down a few ideas of things that are taking up space in your mind, causing you stress or taking up your energies. And really, I want you to focus on those things that are taking up your energies in a negative way. Things that are truly, you know, really occupying that mind of yours. If we were together, I would ask everyone to share different aspects of their own list. But since we're virtual, I created a short list that I want to use as we move through today. And I'll share that with you in just a moment. I just want to give you another 30, 40 seconds to write down some thoughts. Okay. So as I was preparing for today's presentation, I did write down a few thoughts. So here are the things that are occupying my mind today. I went down to the kitchen and I realized none of my roommates loaded the dishwasher, and I got annoyed that now I have to do it again, even though I did it the last time. I have some things sitting on my to-do list from last week that just didn't get done, which is really causing me some stress. They're nothing major, just little things, but I hate having those unfinished items. This weekend, I don't know if you all saw, but they're starting to put out kind of where we might fall in line for the new COVID vaccine that are being developed. So she sent me this article to kind of figure out where you are in line. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. As I've mentioned before, my mom had a liver transplant, so I've been fully distancing from her since March, and I just really miss my mom and miss hugging her. I have laundry to do. It's something occupying my mind. Also holiday shopping, you know, I don't know how this year has simultaneously felt like the longest and also the fastest year, but here we are in holiday times, and I think my sister's pretty much done with her holiday shopping, and that makes me feel really behind that she's got hers done and I haven't begun. Pretty typical. And you know, COVID cases in my area continue to go up. I see so many people not wearing masks or distancing properly, and it adds to that level of stress. So those are just a few things on my list today. So what I want to do with this list is to utilize these thoughts and put them into this tool. This tool, the Circle of Concern and Circle of Influence, is adapted from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. The idea with using this tool is to separate all of those things that concern you into these 2 different categories: what you can and cannot influence. When we know what we can influence, we can then begin to take better control of our life. So these 2 circles represent the thoughts which occupy your mind, the things that take up your time, your energy, your thoughts, particularly those things that are taking up your time and energies in a negative way. Every single one of those things should sit somewhere within these 2 circles. So using this tool gives you an awareness of not only where you're spending your time and energy, but to really focus on whether you're spending that time and energy on things that you can control, or are you wasting them on wasting time and energy on things that are beyond your influence. So by focusing on the things that you can directly influence or control, you'll find that you can actually achieve much more than if you focus on those things that you cannot influence. So when you focus on the things that you're unable to influence, you're potentially wasting time and energy. This is particularly important if you have liver disease and you have that finite resource of energy. You don't want to waste that time and energy, especially when it's in that small quantity. You know, if you're already feeling fatigued, what's to be gained by wasting that precious energy on what you can't change? So again, we would start to use this tool. You start by making that list of all the things that are occupying your mind or taking up your time and energy. So after you make that list, which we've done, you put those items into one of the 2 circles. So this inner circle, the circle of influence, is that which we can influence, something that we can exert change or control. The other circle, those are things that affect us, but that we can't control or change. They are certainly concerning to us. They are on our minds, but we can't actually exert change on those things. So taking my list, I tried to sort them, and I actually broke some of them up. So, you want to make sure that your circle of concern is focusing more on other people's behaviors, their actions or thoughts, the past or the future. The circle of influence should be more your own thoughts, your own actions, your own reactions, your own words, maybe your physical self. So as a reminder, the first thing on my list was that my roommates didn't load the dishwasher and I was annoyed. So that's actually two separate things. My roommates not loading the dishwasher is something that certainly concerns me, and it bothers me, but I can't really fully control it. But my annoyance that I have to do it again is something that I control. Do I really want to spend time and energy being annoyed, or should I just get it done, or shoot a quick text message and say, hey, when you get home, can you handle this? My mom sending me that article about where people fall in line, of course that's going to concern me. Of course I want to know when I get that vaccine or when it's going to be released, but I don't really have any ability to influence that outcome. COVID cases in my area being up and seeing people without masks, again, not something that I can control. What I can control there is my behavior, making sure that I'm doing what I need to do to stay safe and keep other people safe. But my circle of influence, where I really should be spending that time doing laundry, making sure that I'm doing my holiday shopping, kind of throwing out the fact that my sister did it, that is what it is. That things are sitting on my to-do list, I just got to get them done. When you're living in that circle of concern, when those things are taking up more of your time and energy, you're going to be reactive. When you're just reacting, you're behaving and trying to tackle things where you have no ownership over those things. So when you focus on what you can't control, you're more complaining about your circumstances than you are actually making change. So rather than focusing your energies there, try to move into your circle of influence. When you move into your circle of influence, we become proactive. Our decisions determine our life, not our conditions. So focus on what you can control, rather than those things that are existing beyond you that you can't. This is a tool that I would encourage you to revisit again and again as your situation changes. Keep your circle of influence and discard the rest. And use that to focus not only on what is important, but what it is that you can control. If you spend time and energy focusing on what you can't control, what do you achieve? You achieve more frustration, more anxiety, more stress. But really, what do we gain by focusing on those things we can control? The results will include change, feelings of achievement, a sense of control, being more content. All of those things can help us attain a fuller, healthier, and more balanced life. Revisit this tool to remind yourself, particularly on the tough days, to focus on what you can positively change. So, again, discarding that circle of influence or concern, keeping the circle of influence, and refocusing your attentions. But if change was really easy, we would do it without thought, right? So how do we actually make change? How do we move the needle? How do we begin to move from where we currently are to where we want to be? So I want to introduce this idea of SMART goals, and also how to use this circle of influence. So using that circle of influence, you can actually identify things that you can focus on and start to take back some feelings of control. I think one thing that comes up time and time again in this work that I do is how when somebody is newly diagnosed with liver disease or experiencing new symptoms and new kind of quality of life impact, you can feel like your body has betrayed you. You can feel a brand new sense of being out of control and a deeper sense than what you may have felt before. So being able to regain some semblance of control in some areas of our life can really help our mental state. But knowing what to focus on is one step. The key is how you use that information to make positive change. So by picking one thing on your list, your concern to be addressed. Think about one specific thing that affects you negatively and how you can address it. Then imagine what your ideal scenario would be in that case. Think of a very detailed version of what you want when that concern is resolved. Write down the details of how it feels and looks once you reach that ideal scenario. Include as much detail as possible so then you know when you've reached it. Then, so you have this concern that you want to focus on, and you have that ideal scenario that you're envisioning, but list out all the possible barriers to that ideal scenario. Look at the obstacles. Use those obstacles to help you find the solutions you need to reach that ideal scenario. The more obstacles you have, the better chance you have of finding the best possible solution for you at this current time. And then list out all the solutions to those obstacles. List potential solutions to what it is you want to address to that concern. List them all and then prioritize them in terms which you want to try first. Make sure that they're small enough and specific enough to be achieved. So say your concern to be addressed is you want to lose weight. I faced that concern last year. I'd had a diagnosis of non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, the more advanced form of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, for a few years. I'd heard from my doctors, lose weight, exercise. I think most of us at some point in our lives have heard that comment. And, you know, it didn't really become something that I could focus on. I tried plenty of times, you know, I want to get more exercise, I want to lose weight. But those weren't really specific enough goals to make any kind of difference. When I started approaching my weight loss in this way, you know, trying to imagine what that ideal scenario would be, what my bigger picture for wanting to lose weight would be, not only good health, but the ability to go on adventures without issue. You know, this may work for some people, as I said, it may not work for you. So when you're making those solutions, when you're listing them out, try to be smart when setting your goals. So SMART goals are specific. You go in and define it as much as possible. Who's involved? What do you want to accomplish? Where are you going to do it? Why are you doing it? What constraints or requirements do you have? Make sure that they're measurable. Make sure that they have a time frame. Rather than just exercise, you know, maybe it's exercise 2 times a week. Make sure that they're attainable. You can't make it exercise every single day, which I've tried in the past, or go to the gym every day and then come home and stretch. Make sure that it's something that you'll actually be able to achieve. And again, set goals for where you are right now. If you have a new diagnosis of liver disease, the goals that you're setting for yourself might need to shift or change to reflect your current reality. Make sure that they're relevant, that they actually go towards your greater ideal scenario and meet your solution, and make sure they're timely. Again, it should include a time limit. It should be, you know, that you have this clear goal. So, you know, instead of getting more exercise or losing weight, try using a smaller plate or making sure half of your plate is a vegetable. Something that is actually measurable and attainable and relevant. And then check your progress. So try your first solution on your list. Is it working? If so, awesome. You're on your way to your ideal scenario. If it isn't, maybe add or substitute one of the other solutions. Keep going through the solutions, making changes as you go, and often that will bring you to your ideal scenario. If you go through all the potential solutions, maybe ask yourself, have you really tried everything? Are there some things that you haven't tried? If you have actually exhausted all your solutions and you're still not where you want to be, reassess your ideal. Make sure that that's actually achievable. Make sure it's realistic. And if it's not, then go back to the drawing board. So again, this circle of control and influence is something that I think right now, especially when we have all of these influencing things that are so much bigger and beyond us, it can be really hard to make sure that we're leaving time and energy for ourselves and for our self-care. Remember the video that I shared last week on the idea of the big stuff, the small stuff, and the in-between stuff. Make sure you're prioritizing those things that should be prioritized, and make sure the things that you're prioritizing are things that you can actually control. So that's one of the tools. This is another tool that I personally really like. This is called the Wheel of Life. So with this tool, the idea behind it is that in life, we can get really busy, or we can get really hyper-focused on one area of life, say work. Um, you can find yourself off balance, neglecting other areas. Our life is not one-dimensional. Maybe you're hyper-focused on your health, and your other areas of your life are, off balance because of that. The Wheel of Life allows us to take an aerial view of our life, to find where we might be off balance, and then work to try to regain that balance. This tool makes you consider each area of your life one by one and assess what is off balance, so you can then determine where your attention and energies are best suited. So again, it's that small incremental change, right? Knowing that we're not going to achieve perfection, but that we can achieve progress. So to use this tool, think about the different areas or dimensions of your life. The dimensions in everyone's lives are not the same. Think about each area in the context of your own world, and define the dimension in a way that makes sense for you. So, your partner or your spouse or your best friend, that person who's kind of your most intimate person. Occupation, not what you do for work, but more how you occupy your time. So hobbies, what are you doing in your free time? Money and finance, I think that's pretty clear. Health and fitness, friends and family. Your physical environment, this is really the world around you. So your workspace, your home space, your commute, that physical environment that you find yourself in the day-to-day. Personal development, this is, learning new skills, doing things for you, new things for you. And then fun and leisure, how are you bringing that smile to your face? So think about each one of these dimensions on a scale of 1 to 10. So the center of this wheel would be 0, and the outside edge would be 10. That your relationship with your partner and spouse is absolutely perfect, and the center would kind of be about 5. So 10 would be the most possibly satisfied that you could be right now in this moment. There gets no better. So think about where you are right now in this very moment in all of these different dimensions. So then we plot them out onto a wheel and we see where we are. Again, I made an example of this. So taking a moment to kind of think about our own satisfaction. After today's call, I would encourage you to print out that wheel or draw one up and plot your own satisfaction. Make an X in that wedge that reflects your current satisfaction, and then connect those different dots. So again, this is just an example. Once you connect those points, you can kind of get an immediate overview of your current life balance by seeing which areas might actually need improvement. Looking at this circle, imagine that this is the wheel on the car you're driving through life. What sort of ride would this be? Would it be smooth? In an ideal world, we want this to be a nice round circle, but it can take a tough time to get there. Some places you might have more distance that you want to go, and that might seem daunting, but know that if you have less satisfaction, you actually have more room to exert change. So how do we know what to do to round out that wheel? So again, using that tool and seeing where we need improvement allows us to start identifying the ways we can round out our world and find better balance. Remember to use SMART goals. This tool is going to allow you to become more self-aware and more motivated to make change towards a more fulfilling life. And that's fulfillment as you see it, as what your top 10 would be defined as. This self-knowledge should make you feel empowered while giving you focus and direction. Being able to see where you have work to do, where you're closest to the center and where you're closest to the edge. Again, if something has that smaller score, don't worry. The smaller your score, the more room for improvement. And even doing one small thing can feel like a huge, huge accomplishment and really cause a big change. Remember, as you're looking at these different things, so we want to come back to this idea of SMART goals. I've also provided you with a SMART handout so you can remember these goals. So specific, measurable, attainable. So for every wedge of that wheel, you want to list out 5 things that would help move your original rating to a closer 10. But you want to make sure that they're SMART, that they are that specific type thing. So again, I've provided this as a handout, and I've given you some examples for these different steps. So, you know, after today's call, I would again encourage you to sit down, draw your wheel, and then come up with some things, action items that you can do, and goals for each different area. I would encourage you to revisit this tool every 6 months or so. Drawing a new wheel, seeing how it changes. I can assure you my wheel has changed drastically since I started doing this work. Because if we do it, if we actually write these small goals and we try to do them, it will make a big difference. And trying to cross one little thing off every day, we actually get this incredible biochemical reward for crossing something off of your list. You know, if you get that long honey-do list and you can actually cross things off, it feels great. Process makes big change. This process really does make that big change far more attainable than it might be if we're just making those big sweeping goals. So again, for that wheel that I created, I've also created some goals just so you can get a sense of what this might look like. So, you know, for occupation, again, how you're occupying your time. Are you sitting on the TV all the time? Maybe it's watching less TV and going for one night a week with no TV. Going for a hike at least once a month. You know, it's not a big goal. It's not a huge commitment. Maybe, or you know, trying to make sure that you get to that big back burner filing cabinet in your house. But making sure that you're not expecting you to do it all in one day. It's also really important to know that things can exist in different categories, right? So sweeping the house 3 times a week, that's how I'm spending my time. I'm going to be more productive, but it's also going to improve my physical environment. The house is going to get cleaner. If I'm going for a hike at least 1 time a month, that's also going to contribute to my health and fitness. I can invite a friend on that monthly hike and improve some of my friendships. I can, you know, if it's going to fall into my fun and leisure or my personal development. Making that one small change could help to inspire change in other realms of your life. Making sure that you're not making those big sweeping statements, you know, that you're never going to buy coffee out again, but maybe just buying 1 coffee per day or 1 per week. Trying to think of measurable small things that you can do to improve these different areas. So I want to spend the rest of our time reviewing some relaxation techniques, talking about some things that you might want to incorporate into your life, things that could help you kind of in the day-to-day. I know I received some feedback from you about the square breathing GIF, that square breathing technique I introduced, and that was helpful for some of you. So I'm really glad that that was. So, you know, there's been so many benefits to relaxation techniques. We've actually seen you can slow your heart rate, you can reduce your blood pressure, slow your breathing rate, improve your digestion, maintain more normal blood sugar levels, reduce your stress hormones, increase blood flow to major muscles, reduce muscle tension and chronic pain, improve concentration and mood, improve your sleep quality, lower your fatigue, reduce anger and frustration in the day-to-day, while also boosting confidence to handle the problem. These are incredible benefits from some pretty simple relaxation techniques. I would encourage you to use these techniques along with coping mechanisms or methods like we've discussed, like positive thinking and finding humor and managing your time and exercise and sleep and, you know, all of those things. None of these things can exist in isolation. Kind of like what I said when I was talking about food, that there is no good food or bad food, that there is no one ultimately healthy food or one ultimately unhealthy food. It's all about balance. So making sure that you are bringing in different tools and techniques to rely on. So the first concept I'd like to talk about is gratitude. Um, I would encourage all of you to start thinking about a gratitude log. So with a gratitude log, every night before you go to bed, just write down one sentence. Start with today, I am grateful for. Every single day, there is at least one positive thing that makes us smile, cheers us up, or makes us feel better. But when we're feeling down, low, tired, stressed, it's really easy to forget the good things in our lives. If someone asked you what made you smile 2 weeks ago today, would you know? Would anything pop to mind? So write them down. Remember what brings you joy. Each day before you go to bed, answer that question. What happened in my life today that was positive? By answering this question each day, you're actually building a bank of happy thoughts for you to reflect on when you have a bad day. That way you can feel the benefits of that positive chemical release in your brain, that natural feel good factor. When we need more gratitude in our life, we can find it. We can read our previous entries, remind ourselves of happier and more positive moments. It actually impacts our brain to do that. It will improve how you feel right now to remember all of the things that you should be grateful for and that you have been grateful for. Sometimes it may be a big thing. Sometimes it may be the smallest thing. Maybe it's, yesterday I was really grateful that my dog and cat played together, actually played for 3 minutes without attacking one another. Maybe it's plans you have. Maybe it's a thought. It's joy. It's gratitude, though, regardless of how big or little it is. So remember that habits are built through practice, repetition. Good habits and bad habits alike are built through repetition. What if we did this daily? What if we kept a log of our gratitude every single day? We'd build a new habit. We'd be more grateful, more joyful. So a gratitude log is a really simple thing. You're not saying I'm going to sit down and journal every single day about everything that happened to me, good, bad, and indifferent. You're just saying one thing that you were grateful for today. So meditation and mindfulness, these are kind of one and the same, but mindfulness is a little bit different. I also provided you, I think, some excerpts. Let me just double check the handouts I supplied you with. Yeah. So I did give you a handout with excerpts from my favorite Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. He has this really awesome series of books. These, they're little pocket guides of how to relax, how to sit, how to fight, how to eat, how to love, how to walk, really how to bring mindfulness practice to your everyday. So I pulled some of those basic mindfulness practices like body scans out. YouTube has some really great guided meditations. Find a meditation that works for you. Make sure you're using visual imagery and body awareness to reduce your stress. Try to come up with a mantra. That mantra will allow you to kind of meditate no matter where you are. This could be repeating words or suggestions in your mind that may help you relax and reduce muscle tension. For me, my mantra is the Serenity Prayer. That ability to recognize the things that I do or do not have control over and changing those that I can. And letting the rest go, which I think is a lot of what we're talking about today, right? That idea of concern versus influence is, it does take courage, and it does take those different emotions. So muscle relaxation is a really great form of meditation. I'd like to do a quick practice with you all. So in this relaxation technique, you focus on slowly tensing and then relaxing each muscle group. It can actually help you focus on what the difference between tension and relaxation feels like in your body. By becoming more aware of those physical sensations, you would know when you are tense and when you are relaxed. So I'd like to start, just sit, find a comfortable spot, put your feet on the floor, your hands on your laps, separate, just palms out on your lap. And I want you to start by progressively tensing and relaxing every single muscle. So let's start with our toes and crunch your toes, crunch them up real tight, tense them, and then relax them. And then tense your feet and then relax them. Tense your calves and then relax them. Tense your thighs up, your butt, and then relax. Tense your abdomen muscles and relax. Tensing our muscles for about 5 seconds and then relaxing for about 30 in between will really help your body recognize when you are holding tension in different areas, but also help you recognize that you have the ability to change that tension, that you can exert change and cause those muscles to relax. I'm going to save mindfulness for the next slide, since mindfulness is something that's come up again and again. And if we have time today, I'd love to do a quick body scan. Music can really drastically change our mood. Think about when you're driving in the car and a song comes on that you love, you get excited, maybe you turn the volume up, maybe you sing and dance. I know I do. I'm sure some of fellow commuters have caught me on a TikTok video or something of my car dancing. And it really kind of takes over your whole body. No matter where you were mindset before you heard that song, you're in it, you're feeling it. But then what if a song comes on that you hate? You feel annoyed, you're angry, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you turn the music off altogether. Music can really change your mood. Make a playlist for when you're happy. Make a playlist for when you want to mellow out. Make a playlist for when you want to exercise. Try to dictate your own mood rather than letting circumstance dictate your mood. Relaxing exercise can be a huge form of self-care and a great relaxation technique. Gentle, slow yoga or slow stretching, a nice walk, trying to step out of your norm can be a really nice way to relax. I'm actually loving, I know as hard as this year has been with COVID, I'm seeing more people outside walking than I ever have before, which I think is really wonderful. I think all too often we can get stuck in our norm. So, I know it's getting cold in some areas. I'm up in the Northeast and it's bitter cold, but trying to just take that beat and do some relaxing exercise. Visualization is one of my favorite forms of relaxation techniques. So with visualization, basically you want to create mental images and take a visual journey to just a peaceful, calming place or situation. So I'd like to take a moment right now to do a guided visualization. This is something that I really adore doing in person because I can see people being affected by it. But we'll do it virtually, and I'll just hope and trust that you're playing along with me. So to relax using visualization, we really want to incorporate as many senses as we can. Right now, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to sit quietly, loosen anything tight, focus on your breathing. And I want you to think about a golden moment, just a moment in your life where you were truly, truly happy. Something that, just thinking back to it brings a smile to your face. Think about that moment in as much possible detail as you can. What do you smell? Are you at the beach? Do you smell the ocean air? Are you in the forest or in a yard? Are you inside? What smells are near you? What do you see? Is it day? Is it night? What do you hear? Do you hear the wind blowing? Do you hear children laughing? a loved one's voice? Is anything touching you? Try to incorporate every single sense. Think about that memory as deeply as you can. Try to let all of your other thoughts go and just focus on that one memory. You may be sitting there and finding yourself with a smile on your face or a little bit lighter inside. Our brain can't tell the difference between remembering a memory or a moment with that much detail and actually living it. When you're in a really stressful place, try to take a beat. Think about those positive thoughts. Visualize something beautiful. Step away from your reality so that you're better able to cope with it in the day-to-day. So as I said, I wanted to get a little bit more into mindfulness before I say goodbye. Mindfulness is not about being, so here's again a thing from Thich Nhat Hanh. So mindfulness of something. Mindfulness is always mindfulness of something. We can be mindful of our breath, of our footsteps, of our thoughts, and our actions. Mindfulness requires that we bring all of our attention to whatever we're doing, whether we're walking, breathing, brushing our teeth, or eating a snack. To be mindful is already to be awakened. If we can say with awareness, breathing in, I know I have a body, that is already insight. Because if we know we have a body, we can know how to take care of our body. If we want to reduce stress and tension, we need to be aware that we've been running a lot. True happiness isn't found in success, money, fame, or power. True happiness should be found in the here and the now. With that kind of insight, you can truly relax. Mindfulness is this focused concentration, an awareness of the physicality, but also a kind of distraction. We're not looking to focus in on changing our thoughts or controlling our thoughts. It's more about just being present with ourselves. I want to spend a little bit of time doing a relaxation opportunity and just kind of close in that way. I want to do, again, this is from Thich Nhat Hanh's How to Relax. It's called Deep Relaxation. Deep relaxation is an opportunity for your body to rest, heal, and be restored. You bring attention to each part of your body: hair, scalp, brain, ears, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, lungs, each of the internal organs, the digestive system, pelvis, legs, feet, toes. You send your love and care to every part of your body and every cell. I'd like you to now sit back with your arms at your sides or on your lap, separate. Make yourself comfortable. Allow your body to relax. Be aware of the floor beneath your feet and the contact of your body with the chair. Allow your body to sink into wherever you are right now, whether you're sitting or laying down. Become aware of your breathing in and out. Be aware of your abdomen rising and falling as you breathe in and out. Breathing in and bringing awareness to your eyes. Breathing out, allow your eyes to relax. Allow your eyes to sink back into your head. Let go of the tension in all the tiny muscles around your eyes. Your eyes allow you to see a paradise of forms and colors. Allow your eyes to rest. Send love and gratitude to your eyes. Breathing in, bring awareness to your mouth. Breathing out, allow your mouth to relax. Release the tension around your mouth. Your lips are the petals of a flower. Let a gentle smile bloom on your lips. Smiling releases the tension in the hundreds of muscles in your face. Feel the tension release in your cheeks, your jaw, and your throat. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your shoulders. Breathing out, allow your shoulders to relax. Let them sink into the chair behind you. Let all the accumulated tension flow into the place behind you. You carry so much with your shoulders. Now let your shoulders relax as you care for them. Breathing in, become aware of your arms. Breathing out, relax your arms. Let your arms sink into the floor. Relax your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, your hands, and all the tiny muscles in your fingers. Move your fingers a little if you need to, helping the muscles relax. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your heart. Breathing out, allow your heart to relax. You have neglected your heart for a long time, and you cause your heart stress by the way you work, eat, and manage anxiety and stress. Your heart beats for you night and day. Embrace your heart with mindfulness and tenderness, reconciling and taking care of your heart. Breathing in, bring your awareness to your legs. Breathing out, allow your legs to relax. Release all the tension in your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, your toes, and all the tiny muscles in your toes. You may want to move your toes a little to help them relax. Send your love and care to your toes. Breathing in, breathing out. Your whole body feels as light as a lily floating on the water. You have nowhere to go, nothing to do. You are free as a cloud floating in the sky. Bring your awareness back to your breathing, to your abdomen, rising and falling. Following your breath, becoming aware of your arms and legs. You may want to move them a little, stretch. When you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. I think it's really important to remember that self-care can mean 20 minutes of meditation, but that it can also mean 20 minutes of sitting in front of the TV. Self-care is what you need when you need it, and also being kind to yourself and knowing that you're doing your best to fill your needs. I think it can be all too often we get caught up in other folks' versions of who we are or who we should be, and trying to imagine what your ideal would be and working to meet it. Again, that triangle I showed with the amount of self-care that we do versus our healthcare providers, Imagine your ideal health scenario and work with your doctor to try to bring you there. Make sure you're focusing on your attentions on things that you can control and influence, not things that just exist to concern you. I'd like to take a moment. If anybody has any thoughts or comments or questions, please feel free to send them in the question box. If not, that is the conclusion of our webinar.